when I was in high school, we were required to take a course in the Constitution and constitutional law. They haven't taught that, and I don't know how long, right? So basically what we have done is we have let the government overtake our schools, overtake our healthcare, overtake, our court system, and nobody knows what they actually have to do that they can fight back. Because it's a very simple thing. You don't have to have a lawyer. You can write your own affidavits. We have it all done for you. And I've been fortunate enough to learn that through David Jose and Josh Barnett, who are two experts that, they're helping people do this collectively together. So it's really incredible in a time and a place that we're at. And I feel like, again, this is another part of my journey. Mm-hmm. But I get to do that now for people. And that to me is so incredibly important, because guess what happens? There will be no small businesses. There will be, my industry that I love, it will be non-existent if we do not protect our rights. And by golly, I did not live my life to this day to leave this legacy for my children and my future grandchildren. I did not do that.
Welcome back to another episode of American Snippets. I'm your co-host, Barb Allen. And look, you all know that one of the many impacts 2020 had on a ton of us was this gut-wrenching reality check of how vulnerable we are and how dependent we are on the whims and decisions and mandates of other people completely out of our control that can just swoop in and change our life entirely. With one breath, the government erased our rights of the people to go to work, to travel, to gather with family and friends, and even how we breathe is now legislated in some cases. So lots of us took hits, me and Dave included. We had to recover, regroup, catch our breath, what the hell happened to us kind of thing, and then figure out how to get up and move forward, which we have thankfully done with the support of a ton of people. But a lot of people are still struggling. Some, though, like today's guests, have come out stronger and even more successful. And that is due in part to the fact that she was way ahead of us when this all hit, because she was already her own boss. She was already free from the confines of the corporate world and from the winds of other people. Toni Vanschoyck and her husband, Jay, they've not only overcome adversity to build and grow their own mega success, but what makes you really special, Toni, is that you guys are using that expertise and that passion to turn around and help others do so. And I believe to the tune of a couple 100,000 people are now following and learning and growing from you. And that is significant impact right there. So we're going to get into all of this today. We're going to talk with Toni about the companies that she's working with, the businesses that she's built, the nonprofit that she and her husband run, and her deep-rooted patriotism for this country, which of course is another thing that endears her so much to me. Toni, thank you so much for you're also sponsoring our Great American Summit. I'm going to come right out and do that. You are our first sponsor we have had on live, and this is fresh and new. Toni stepped forward and we put the call out, and she said, yes, I am going to sponsor your event. And we can't thank you enough. She's a Freedom Ring sponsor of the Great American Summit. So booyah. But let's go forward, Toni, into your story. And thank you for being here with us today.
I am so super excited and so honored to be here. I'm giddy with joy. I'm so glad that we got connected.
I know, me too. And you know what, when I watch you, when I talk to you, I can actually almost like feel this energy like coming through waves. And this is one of the reasons I was so excited to selfishly for me to get to like speak to you, because I could always use that little juice up and hit, especially in the middle of the day like this. But I know you're going to impact our community and our audience, and especially people at the Great American Summit as well. Let's talk a little bit. We're going to start with where you are. Then we're going to go back to where you came from and what you're doing. And then we're going to get into, all things America. Okay. So, let's start us first with the company that you are big up in.
Yeah. So Barb, I've been in my industry now for the better part of 2 decades. And I started this when I had my own brick and mortars. And we got hit pretty bad by one of the recessions in the 90s. So I started supplementing my income in network marketing, direct sales, social selling many years ago. I just found that along my journey and through some real major challenges, that this is truly what I was put here on earth to do, is to serve other people. This industry is truly about helping others see success first, and then you get rewarded. And that's always spoken to my heart, because I've been such a person that I just love giving to other people, whether I can help them, financially, whether I can help them with things that I know. So we launched this company 7 years ago. And I've been right here at the helm since 2014, working this business. It's a company called Monate. We play in the vegan, cruelty-free, clean beauty space. And we launched it 7 years ago and had no idea that it was going to take off like it did. And we were, and how many lives we were able to impact through a better, cleaner product. Because we've been green and clean long before this was cool. My journey started many, many years ago, living in the, eating clean, exercising, drinking clean water. So for me, when I was looking to get back into the industry, because I had stepped away for about 1.5 years, I got burned pretty bad, and I just had to take a breather. And it was by God's grace that I was blessed that that it kind of picked me, I guess. And so here we are 7 years later. We've been able to impact over 400,000 people with our financial opportunity, and about 3 million people with our product. And we launched this, and we were just here in the United States. We just launched our 8th country this month, actually, in Australia. And I wake up every single day more excited than the day before, because I know that the impact that we're going to make on people's lives. So that's kind of how we got started. And then that morphed into, of course, our Effing Simple platform. That one of my strengths is being able to help other people through mindset, leadership, vision casting. And so we created that platform. I have authored 3 books, talking about business, talking about leadership, talking about being the best version of yourself. And we have a podcast platform, which, by the way, listening to your story that you did, just was so inspiring. And I want to keep inspiring people every single day. And there's, 3 things that have come from this journey that we've been on. I wake up every single day with 3 things. 1, how can I help? 2, how can I provide value? 3, how can I help you win? And then it's lather, rinse, repeat.
Yeah. And so you could see that about you, Toni, and all of your content, all of your posts, even in just speaking with you. I mean, you just sort of eat, sleep, and breathe that, and it just comes to you. Let me ask you, when you say we started this company, and I know that you took a big chance on that company in 2014 because it was brand new, right? But so who is the we, and how did you go about starting that? And what were the actual steps you took, and what was the inspiration to start that? Were you approached by someone? Was it a concept that you had and you went to other people and pitched? How did that all come into play?
So I say we now, because this is not just me. It's me, it's my family, it's our team, it's the people that we're able to impact. So collectively together, and again, I look at this is my family. Every single person that I've helped, whether it's been within, the frame of our business scope, or whether it's just to help educate people in what I'm passionate about, clean living, essential oils that actually really work better, all sorts of different modalities. But the reason that I say that Monate picked me is because I, number one, was desperately needing emotional connection. I had really kind of gone into almost like a hermit, because I was trying to protect myself after being, hurt so badly. So I firmly feel that it picked me. And it just happened to be the right timing. And I got introduced to the company through a mutual friend. And if you know anything about this industry at all, it's very incestuous. It's very small. Everybody knows everybody. And being that I have been in this space, this was my 5th company that I had been working with in network marketing. So I wasn't a stranger to it. I had success in previous companies, but unfortunately they closed. And it just so happened, for a year and a half in between the last company that I was with, plus trying to start my own, which didn't pan out, that it was, how they say that timing is everything. Mm-hmm. Well, I think that all of my journeys of failures led me up to this very particular moment that I found Monat back in June of 2014.
Cool. And so you just followed. I've sort of come to all this realizations myself too. And as I'm looking back where we were and where we are and where we're going. And I remember people saying to me, like, and they say it now, and I get it. Like, what's your plan? Who's your avatar? Who's your market? What's your schedule? What's this? And I was like, I don't know. I just felt a pull, right? And I just knew that I knew I was going to have to figure out all those things, but I didn't have them yet. And it almost felt like very well-intentioned people were trying to talk me out of following that path because I couldn't answer all of those questions right now. Do you think, is that something you experienced then? Did you have all those things in path? I say now, like the pull was the plan for me. Like that was the plan, was the pull. And I followed the pull and that's led to the plan, right? But it's not the easiest way to do that. And it's not the fastest way. It's the longest, hardest way to do it, I think. But I didn't know any other way to do it. That was the only way I had. So that's what I did. That's what I'm still doing. Did you have that? Did you have all of that stuff in place? Did you know who your avatar was? Could you identify them by age and demographics and finances and all this stuff? And did you know where you're going to put did you have all of those answers in the business plan from the get-go, or did you build and evolve as you went?
Well, I knew what I knew because I am a student of this industry. I love what it does for people and how it can leverage everything. So we don't really we didn't go into this having our ideal, what we call wrapper or what we call a market partners. We didn't have that ideal. All I knew is that, playing in the space that I was going to play in, were going to be people that were around my age because that's who I relate to, right? I wasn't, when we started this, I was 45 years old when we launched this. So most of the people that came into this business were around the same age as I was. We have learned over time network marketing really doesn't have an avatar. I have very successful, amazing men and women that are in this business that are crushing it, earning, incredible incomes, and they're in their early 20s. So I say, this particular business model doesn't matter where your background is. It doesn't matter. One of my amazing ladies that I work with, she is a part of our organization, but she's the number 1 global income earner in the company. She's 30. She never got a high school diploma. She was living in a trailer without running water. You just never know. And then I have people she's a Hispanic soap opera star, 4 million followers. So it doesn't matter. And that's one true thing that I find is that I love the fact that there's no discrimination. And the only thing that holds us back, Barb, is right here in between. What's in between our ears is our brain. And so therefore, it's so important that, people are getting the right things fed into their mind, especially now where we're at, with all of this other, I'm going to be frank, bullshit going on with our rights being tampered with. It's been a natural evolution. So, and so when we started this, we had no idea the level of success it was going to bring. But now what I get to do is I get to, just like you had mentioned before, we were able to start our own nonprofit. I'm able to now where one of my key focuses is because I see this all the time, people coming to me, and I'm always the person that had the answers, right? I'm solution driven. I'm going to find the answer, right? I had so many people coming to me, and this is why I got involved in really learning our common and natural law rights and working with some experts in that field, invested into myself and into other people, because people just don't understand. And so that has been a main focus that I've been really working on the last 3 to 4 months, ever since they started these fake mandates, right? So that's kind of like the process of the evolution. It's the main thing is the main thing, but I have the time now where I don't have to answer to anybody else, so I can teach people about this. So, we've put together courses where we teach people how to write affidavits and how to file these in a court of law and get a grand jury and tell these employers and all of these people traipsing all over our rights, because most people, Barb, here's the thing. And I had this coming to Jesus moment a year ago, right? Because I have a 13-year-old daughter. The rest of my children are grown, but guess what? They're not being taught cursive anymore.
Mm-hmm.
You want to know why?
Because the Constitution's written in cursive.
Our Declaration of Independence, everything is in cursive, right? Because that's what they did.
Yep.
So they literally, and I don't know, again, when I was in high school, we were required to take a course in the Constitution and constitutional law. They haven't taught that, and I don't know how long, right? So basically what we have done is we have let the government overtake our schools, overtake our healthcare, overtake, our court system, and nobody knows what they actually have to do that they can fight back. Because it's a very simple thing. You don't have to have a lawyer. You can write your own affidavits. We have it all done for you. And I've been fortunate enough to learn that through David Jose and Josh Barnett, who are two experts that, they're helping people do this collectively together. So it's really incredible in a time and a place that we're at. And I feel like, again, this is another part of my journey. Mm-hmm. But I get to do that now for people. And that to me is so incredibly important, because guess what happens? There will be no small businesses. There will be, my industry that I love, it will be non-existent if we do not protect our rights. And by golly, I did not live my life to this day to leave this legacy for my children and my future grandchildren. I did not do that. Okay. I've never served in the military, by the way. I just want to say, I do have very close family members that did. You got to support our military businesses, veteran-owned businesses, right? Because they fought on the sword of leadership to give us the freedoms that we have. And by golly, I am not going to let those lives go by, with all of this stuff happening without being a voice for us. And so that's where I am right now, is being a voice for people that actually, they don't know where to turn.
Yeah. And, it can be so overwhelming. I'm not that far removed from being the mom on my own with 4 little boys and constant problems. When every moment of your day is spent taking care of other people, running around, trying to solve problems, like reacting to problems as they hit you, and still being underneath. At the end of the day, you worked your ass off and you're still further behind than you were the day before, because you're just so overwhelmed and you're outgunned, really. You're outgunned. You could be giving all you have and you could just be outgunned for a period of your life, right? And when you're in that period, it can be exhausting. If you get a notice or somebody says, you have so much going on, and then you're told, hey, by the way, if you don't get this jab and the job that's paying your bills is gone. I mean, you're not really in a position like it's easy to say, oh, just quit your job. Right. But then when you're like, well, no, then you're actually going to lose your home. You and your children are going to have to live in your car. Like, how far are you going to go? Are you going to put your kids into a car from their home so that you don't have to get that? And it plays with you. Right. And so you're just outgunned, and you understand why a lot of people are like, I don't want to, but I just don't have it in me to lose my house, to take my children to live in a car because I want to stand up for this, and I totally get that. I mean, but that's really what it comes down to for a lot of people. And so what do you say to a person if somebody in a situation similar to that is listening and hears that and is has not already complied with this mandate that's come out, because most of the people have already complied. They've made their choice already and already complied or left. But if there's still somebody on the line or on the fence who just doesn't have the financial resource to withstand the blow of losing their job without drastic consequences to them and their family, are you saying that there's a resource for them in writing the affidavit and coming back with, what is that?
Yeah. So, again, and connections, connections are so powerful. So David Jose, he actually has a YouTube channel called Dave Cares for You. And he has been teaching common and natural law for actually a very long time. He's been to court. He's actually won over major lawyers. This guy's incredible, right? And so what him and Josh Barnett did, and two great patriots. And as a matter of fact, Josh Barnett is running for the Republican state Senate seat for Arizona. They have been teaching people how to write affidavits. And what happens is that if their job is mandating them to have this, they fill out the affidavit, they get it notarized, turn in a copy to their employer, and they can file a court claim, right? Because what they're doing completely traipses our first, our fourth, fifth, 14th, and 28th constitutional right. So this is the first thing. You need to educate yourself. Okay. The whole point of this being is that there's no easy answer here and there's no quick fix. You're going to have to sit down, dedicate some time, and do exactly what they recommend. So you have to go to like a double encrypted server, which I highly recommend, search engine like DuckDuckGo. Then you go to the website ballotpedia.com, and you're going to look up your state constitutional rights, because each state is different, but they're based on the 13 colonies. It just depends. There's certain states that are similar. Certain states are, they have it in different parts in their constitution. You need to print that off. You need to highlight the areas that they are violating your constitutional rights. And then what you do is, and actually Josh Barnett's website has most of the affidavits for most states on there. So yes. So that's all you have to do. And then you can go file with your local courthouse. You can file that. There are filing fees, but that's a heck of a lot cheaper than paying a lawyer. And let me tell you what lawyers are charging. They're charging the highest $400 to $1,100 just to write the affidavit or the letter. Y'all, I'm telling you, as most people do not know that you can legally represent yourself. And again, I strongly encourage you. You need to be carrying around your state constitutional rights and a pocket constitution with you at all times. The more that you know, the less people can argue with you. And there is no job in the United States that can require you. Number one, they can't even ask you, about your vaccination status, because it violates HIPAA. So again, get educated, follow those two experts. That's where I have learned everything. They know way more than I do. And they actually teach courses for and you guys, what the best part is, they charge $50 a person. This is how we got involved. If you seriously do not have the money to pay that, what they do is they put it into their foundation and they go and they fight these court cases on behalf of people that have been wrongly persecuted. So the best part is, if you truly, truly don't have the $50, come to me. I will pay it for you out of our nonprofit and get you the education so you have a resource. Let me tell you something. So a lot of great things are happening here, Barb. I don't ever want someone to feel that their backup is against the wall because their employer is saying that they have a jab. And by the way, the jab isn't even mandated. Go try to even find it. It's not. You can't mandate something that is for emergency authorized use only. It is not going to be even approved yet.
Well, now it's FDA approved. So technically now it's FDA approved, right?
It is not. Camaraderie is FDA approved, not what they're mandating from Moderna. Right. This is what most people don't understand.
See, I thought it was FDA approved, but let me ask you then. So say, I mean, that all sounds amazing, like truly amazing. And I'm thinking again, because I'm just playing devil and pushing, because I'm hearing in my head what I'm going to get back from people, right? All right. So, but what about the person who's showing up for work and security shows up to escort them out of the building because they've been terminated. I mean, you can't really resist that. You have to walk out and do the fight after that.
Correct. You do, but just know that the time that you will have to be off work without pay, everybody should have at least 3 months saved up,
right?
Because they will have to give you your job back. It only takes one court case. And then all, just like, with the whole thing with Southwest and how all of the airline employees, there is strength in numbers. But if you don't stand up now, and if you decide to get the jab, and let's say it does cause permanent damage or even death, then what? Right. So there is going to be short-term pain regardless. And the one thing that you do is you have to get everything documented. If you walk in, then you have to have them highlight their policies and procedures, give you a written letter, because they will not be, this will not stand up in a court of law.
Yeah, that's good to know. And what you said there is temporary pain for long-term gain. I think that is very symbolic of pretty much anything that's worth fighting for, right? It's what you went through building this company and building out to where you are. And I want to bring it back to that for a second so that people have these actionable steps they can take as well to take care of themselves while they're doing all of that, right? So it's like a 1-2 punch. You need all these things in place, a lot of moving pieces. And you are definitely one of those pieces that people can move in terms of that. So when you teach people about the network marketing skills and community and organization, is that specifically, do you stick to your product? Can somebody come to you only to join your company and be part of your of Monate, or can they take what you're teaching them and apply it to another product or business?
Oh yeah. So I have a lot of friends that I mentor with in the industry that are in other companies. We all have this philosophy that, we love the industry, but we also want to be a resource for each other. And, my company may not be a fit for someone, but you know what? Like my friend Jasmine, she's one of the top leaders in an essential oil company. Then, you know what? I'm going to say, maybe this isn't a right fit for you, but, I have this great, amazing, friend that is just crushing it over here. Maybe that'll be a right fit, because we're always looking to support, because together we really are better.
Yeah.
Now, anybody can go get my trainings. They're all free. Everything, all my books, they're all generic, because I just want people to have that information out there. And Barb, I don't make any money off of any of this. I sell everything at cost just because I want people to have the resources. That's all. And then our entire training platform on Effing Simple, that's on Rumble and it's on YouTube. They can just go get whatever information that they want, and they can apply it right to whatever they're doing.
I love that. And so let me ask you then, what is it that makes you so passionate about helping people? Is it because you've been on the other side of that and you know what it's like have you been walking through a grocery store and had to put something back because you didn't have, or had your card declined, or worried about things? Have you lived in that situation?
So my life actually, right up until I was probably about 38 years old, was a shit sandwich. Really, really was. And I've been divorced twice. I lost my brick and mortars through the divorce. Actually, the last one, devastating, like literally living out of my car type of situation. I would have to budget. After that happened, we'd have to budget money every day just to buy groceries. And I was trying so hard to eat clean. And that's way more expensive.
Oh yeah.
Feeding my children good, wholesome foods and stuff like that. They called it whole paycheck for a reason at the time. And I just started up with this company because I had no income coming in. We have filed bankruptcy. Our house was 4 months behind in our house payment. And this was a really ugly time in our situation. And this was in between the time I had the last company that I did very, very well with, 2 years later, and here enters Monate. So we actually were just trying to make sure that the home wouldn't go into a short sale or foreclosure, right? Had cars repoed. We were driving a 12-year-old, it was a Lincoln Town car. Like you can, one of those big ones, you can put 12 bodies in your trunk, right? And that car was 12 years old, had over 100,000 miles on it. We didn't really have there was one point in time we didn't have a pot to piss in. My husband was doing well, but he worked, he was on projects that supported building roads and bridges outside of Chicago. And, the federal government, when we had the recession with him, it killed us again financially. So, that was the third time in my adult life with children that we had no money. And I just said, if I'm gonna make this work, I'm gonna be all in 100%. I'm gonna jump in with both feet. I'm not gonna look back. And, I had a lot of guilt issues when we started gaining success, because I'm like, who am I? Why do I deserve this? But you know what? I see what it is now. It's because of all the other lives that we've been able to impact, that we can give freely, both our time and money, because we can give back as much as we want. And so therefore it's opened up my eyes into what so many possibilities that I never saw before. And the one thing is that there's never a dream that's too big. And so it really helped unlock, that I was playing small. I was playing really small, and now I can go up and I can, be the batter that hits the home run, and I can help other people do the same thing. And that's what it's all about for me. Like when we had that call with Mike and you were like, oh my gosh, we're looking for sponsors. That was a no-brainer for me. I'm like, this woman speaks my language. I love her already, and I don't even know her.
Oh, thank you. And the feeling is definitely mutual, and not just because you stepped forward, although that I was telling you before, the boost that gives you, because I will say in all candidness, I'm somewhere right in between the two phases now, right? Like I've so much of what you've just said, I've been there. I've been in bankruptcy court with a newborn and a 1-year-old next to me, and then had 2 more kids and had a car repoed and lost the place we were living in, had to move in with my parents. Like I've been there. I had cards declined at the grocery store, at this and that. And then even as you're coming out of it, when you have all your money tied into investments, it's not necessarily free. You got like 50 grand sitting there, but you're paying for groceries. The 50 grand hasn't hit yet. Bam, your card's declined. Like, so it's like chaos, right? And so I can totally connect to and relate to everything that you're talking about there. I've moved beyond that, but I'm not yet like totally out on the other side. So we're still in the sort of like, oh boy, here we go, like phase, right? But it's super exciting. And when you know that you're on the right path, you're just on the right path. And then you meet people like you who are like-minded. And Toni, I think this is another ripple effect that you have, is that your energy and your belief. Do you know how many times people, and I feel like I am representative of a lot of people in this one area, where we just grew up being told that life is for other people. Like, you could be like you could be this, that, or that. There were 4 careers you're chosen. And if you want, like I have horses now, right? But I remember being told, if you want to have horses, you better work for somebody else because you'll never be able to afford them on your own. Like there's just what we were taught. And to undo that is really hard. So the more people like you out there, just absolutely relentlessly pounding that message out there into the universe and into people. I saw your site. I watched the testimonials about the lives that you've impacted, and almost to a T, everybody who's speaking on your site said the same thing. Like Toni came along and she told me to believe in myself, and she told me I could, and she told me like how smart I am, and how talented I am, and it's crazy, isn't it? Like the power of the mindset. And so thank you for putting that energy out there and for being that voice and that message and that platform that people can learn from and grow. That's got to just feel amazing.
It's what it's all about for me. It speaks to my soul. It speaks to my heart. And I think also too, Barb, and what you had said before is because we've lived it. Mm-hmm. We've been there. I wake up every single day, and Jay and I, we don't have to work again. I wake up every single day because I know that there are people out there that are hungry, that need this. And so that's why I still wake up every single day with the same sense of excitement that I have for the last 7 years. Is you just never know who you can impact, right? And that is the mark that we have to leave on the world, is that we have to make this world a better place than what it was yesterday and today and tomorrow. Is every day going to be sunshine and rainbows? No, that's not realistic. You have peaks and valleys. but it's what you do when you're in those down times, or you're in that valley. It's what you do to move, your step forward. So you can either step into the poop or you can step around it, right?
Yeah, so, I chose to swim in it for a bunch of years.
Well, you and I both. Yeah. The best gift that we can give people is the ability for them to believe in themselves.
That's half the battle right there. That is you have to have that before you're going to do anything else. It sounds so simple, but it's one of the hardest hurdles to overcome.
It is. I mean, every single person that I meet, okay, and whether it's just I'm out and about, I'm not talking about my business or anything like that, is that they have suffered from some sort of self-confidence, self-esteem, self-belief. It's the number one thing that I see, in people, is that when I get them, is that they're so broken, or they've been told no so many times, or they've been told that their self-worth, they're not worthy. You are worthy. You can do anything that you desire. What were those dreams when you were a little kid? Because I believe, and I talk about this all the time, that each individual person was put here on this earth because God gave them a very special talent and a very special gift. And that's where they need to work in, is their gift, because they'll never truly be happy, be free, whatever it is, right? They'll never truly reach that level of success. And mind you, success comes not just from, the money that you're making. Success comes from mindset. It comes from your health. It comes, I say there's pillars, right? You've got friends, faith, family, finances, fitness. And I just added a sixth pillar, freedom.
I knew, right? I was like, where's freedom? I know it's coming.
Yep. Yeah. But the one thing is that you have to live in your craft. You have to do what you were put here on this earth to do. And I believe that every single person has that special gift. And when you're ignoring that craft, it gets buried and you're not living in your truth. I mean, 95% of people that have jobs or businesses, they don't like what they do. Well, you're not living in your truth. And you can start doing this right now today. It doesn't matter how many hours you work. It doesn't matter if you're a single parent, it does not matter. But if you don't really get clear why you were put here and what you love to do, you're doing yourself a disservice.
Yeah. And what do you say to people who feel like there's a time frame that it should take, who say, well, I'm going to start this and I'm going to give myself a year. And if I'm not successful, haven't hit my goals in a year or 2 years or whatever it is, then it must not meant to be. And then they just put it away and never touch it again.
Yeah. So we live in a society of immediate gratification. Okay. What you start today, it's not going to be immediately successful. I mean, it took me, 5 different companies and 20 years being in this industry to hit my stride. What was it? 6 years ago, I finally, it just became a lot more clear where we were going and what we were doing. It takes on average a person to become an expert in anything 7 years. So think about if you like my daughter, my 13-year-old daughter, Catherine, she has known what she has wanted to do since she was out of the womb, right? She loves to act and she knows that she's going to play somewhere in that space. And she's known it since day one. One of my other daughters, she's still trying to figure it out at 21. But, she loves, what she loves to do. And I'm like, you need to work in that craft. You need to specialize in what you love to do and what you're, and necessarily, what you're good at doesn't mean that that's what you were put here to do. But that can also be the transition time where you go to work on your actual goal and dream.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And it's just as simple as that. Like that's the formula, but it's just, you got to be willing, you got to suck it up, man. You got to be willing to suck it up a little bit and do it. But, coming out the other side of that, or even just having the freedom to work 18 hours one day and take the full next day off because it's nice out and you want to go outside, like, the little things, right? Just the little moments that you can do. Let's talk about your nonprofit. I love when I meet people who have built their success and give back in any way, shape, or form, but you took it to the next step and you guys started a nonprofit. So talk about the profit, the name of the nonprofit, its mission, and what you're doing.
So we started our nonprofit. It's called Low Country Love. I reside in southern. We call it Low Country down here for y'all. But I reside in right outside of Charleston, South Carolina, and unbeknownst to me, I actually am a product of domestic violence and other, emotional, traumatic relationships and things that I had to work through. But unbeknownst to me, I did not know when we moved down here that South Carolina was the #1 in domestic violence in the entire United States. So we started off just on a platform of helping families in crisis, specifically focused on women and children. And so, we can be very, very particular, and that's what I wanted. I wanted to be able to help people that I knew that needed the help, but be able to create this so that we could also do fundraising on, people's behalves and organizations' behalves, and not have, for lack of a better word, government in our pockets even more. If we want to, put that in, a chunk of money into our nonprofit and disperse it. But it became bigger than that. We started working more on a national level and then a little bit international. It's not where I want it to be. That's one of my big goals for 2022 is really enriching that and really using that more. But we really have focused on, a lot locally because that's where, again, grassroots movement makes the biggest impact, all the way up to where we've also helped fundraise for international community centers being built worldwide, because, you never know how that is going to make an impact. And if we make this world better together, then we're just all better together. And so that's kind of where it is right now. There's a lot of work that I want to do on that. And I'm making plans. We just hired a new assistant. She's going to be, more focused on that. I want to take it to the next level. What does the next level look like? I don't know, because I don't have a lot of experience playing in that space. But you know what? Again, it's like you said, I don't need to know everything, but if you got to start. And when you're in momentum, don't lose that momentum, because it's really hard to pick it up again. So that's my #1 focus for 2022.
So what is for instance, on what that nonprofit does? Tell us like a specific something that you've given back or contributed or impact you've made.
Yes. So we work with a couple of locations here. I just got wind of a new nonprofit that they just relocated their home offices here, and they're only the third one I think of in the United States, because my heart has been very close. We have a lot of trafficking that goes on here because of our port. So we're partnering with her. I'm meeting with her on Sunday to go over, helping her do some fundraising for that. We've helped orphanages and places here in South Carolina. We helped people who have lost their homes either during a major, like when Texas had the snow and the freezing. We were able to donate to a lot of local charities there that helped buy food and also repair homes that were damaged. So, all the way down to helping to build. We've built now 4 Compassion International Centers. So, we've done fundraising through that to help, anybody can submit requests to have funds that we will donate up to $1,000 depending on their current situation. So it just really, we really look at how can we help, what areas are affected now, more or less by natural disaster and trafficking and domestic violence. So those are our 3 core things.
Yeah. Wow. Another way you're making just a tremendous impact on doing that. And again, a lot of people will say, and I grew up in that mindset because that's what, other people were raised in. And that was like a generational thing, right? That, who needs money? And I remember a specific conversation with an adult in my life, and they were like, oh, this person has $1 million or has millions of dollars. Like, why are they still working? Like, what is the point? Like, leave some for the other people. Like, that's the mindset that was raised. Like, why would you even need more than $1 million? Like, why? Just stop. And the mindset was like, you're taking it from other people if you're making it. Like, it's just crazy what I was raised in. But so that's why I like to keep harping on the message that honestly, the bigger your financial success is, for one, the bigger footprint you can leave in different areas, and the more freely you can do so. To be able to see a sad story online and be like, boom, I'm going to send you money. Every day our pages are flooded with GoFundMe's and help in this terrible situation, and somebody's struggling through that, and your heart breaks for them. And most people can't, like, oh, I can't keep sending out this money. But imagine being able to sit there and say, oh my gosh, here's this terrible story. This friend and sister has this disease or kid, whatever it is happened, boom, you can send a donation of any point. And so that's the mindset people need to get into a little bit more, and stop painting wealth as being selfish and greedy, and start painting wealth as being impactful and free, and I think it makes us all untouchable by the powers that are touching us right now. The more financially stable we are, right, the less we're able to be impacted by these threats and fears and power squeezes and crunches and stuff. If we all had our houses in order, then they can huff and puff, but they're not going to blow it down, right? So I think that what you're doing and teaching people how to do that, Toni, if somebody wants to learn about network marketing and how to begin, like where to start, if somebody's sitting, wow, I kind of got a feel for what she does. I'd like to learn more. How can I do this? I have this job I hate. I'm in this situation, but I'm too old, or I'm too poor, or I'm too this or that. Where can they go to have all those myths debunked and get some Toni jazz in their life?
So I love talking to people about this too. Yeah. Barb, I think at this point, anybody that has an employer, this industry is no longer an option. It's a necessity, because network marketing did very, very well during this whole, whatever you want to call it. You can label whatever you want to call it. Did very, very well. And we still continue to do very, very well today. But it gives you options. So for those of you that are listening, maybe you have this job, and they're saying that, you've got to get this or you're going to lose your job. When we had the lockdowns and stuff like that happening, this industry was the one putting food on people's tables. So my first book is all about educating people about this industry. You can find me, hit me up on Instagram, Toni Vans Official. You can DM me there. You can go to our Rumble platform or YouTube platform /Effing Simple. I'm on Facebook. I'm under Toni Vanschoyck. I'm always answering questions, or I'm here as a resource. That's the first thing that I want people to know, is that I'm a resource. We just, and again, all of the companies playing in our space are absolutely amazing. We have some things that about our company that are fundamentally different than any other company out there. We're just really ahead of the innovation and that type of thing. And we're leading, we've won tons of awards for innovation, social media. So we do, I feel that we do the best of the training on all sorts of platforms. So just hit me up that way. I'd be more than happy to talk to you, and just even figure out if you even want to play in this space. So
yeah. Is there an average, just ballpark figure of a financial investment it takes to get started in the network marketing field?
Yeah. So, most companies, they have a entry level, which runs around $200, $199, $200, $250. That's pretty much across the board in 90% of the companies. And then there's different investment level options. I'm going to tell you though, what, Barb, a lot of people don't understand are the advantages. There's huge advantages of having a home-based business, anything that you do from your home, because you can, basically, I don't think we touched on this. I just built a training facility slash leadership. Cause I do once a month, I do leadership coaching here, and I built a facility on our property because of the tax advantages that you can, I mean, they're phenomenal. So there's so many different possibilities, but the tax advantages alone. And also too, I say there should be no holiday that you have that you should have to go into debt to buy stuff. So the one thing is that you're going to get this incredible opportunity before the end of the year. It's going to be able to help you, I'm going to say if you file taxes, because some people are getting really smart around that as well. So there's just so many opportunities in all companies. And at the end of the day, there isn't any other business model that I know of. And there isn't one out there, because I study business quite a bit because I'm fascinated by what makes companies successful, is that where you can have a minimal investment like that and you don't have to recreate the wheel. That's the best part. All you have to do is just share this. And so it's a no-brainer. You can get full-size products. You get, a front-facing website. You get great training. And again, even if you were just to create your business cards and let's say buy a basic website through Wix, you've already spent $200 or more.
Right. Absolutely. Absolutely. And you don't have all that support that you have on the back end. You don't have the templates to use. You don't have the contacts, the resources, the training videos. You still have to go find all that and hunt it down yourself. Ask me how I know. Yes, I have been there. All right. I in the past, even before social media and the internet took off, I was hustling and looking for all these things. And I jumped into a couple of businesses, like wine at home parties and all this, like trying to just be my own boss and do that. And what are some things now that you would say, like, what's a red flag? Because there are as many good people as are out there and companies like people like you doing this. There's also a lot. I think it has such a negative name because so many people have got burned. And so many people jump in and find out that the company they invested in or the person they invested in really has no idea what they're doing or whatever. But like, what's a red flag for somebody who says, hey, Toni, I love listening to Toni. I'm going to get into network marketing now. Like what's something they should be on the lookout for that sort of alerts them that this may not be a legit company?
Yeah. So there aren't too many. Most of the companies out there are legit. They have to truly sell a product or a service. And so the whole concept of when you have, and I'm going to use this word because it still does come up every now and again, is a pyramid scheme. That means that they don't have a product or a service that they're selling you. Those are far and few between. We've seen it happen where, they've gotten shut down, some of these gaming or gambling types of companies or trading companies and that type of thing. What are they really selling? Right? You want to have a tangible product, a product that you love. And I call it the 3 Ps. You want to have a product that you love. You want to have a person that, the people are a big deal. You want to have a person. And I tell people you need to interview someone that you're looking to partner up with, not just because they look good on, Instagram or Facebook, or you like some of the videos and content that they shot. You need to interview them, because again, you're going to be investing with them for your future. That's the second thing. The third thing is if anybody tells you that you can get rich and you can make all this money, like in a matter of just a few weeks or a few months, run, run for the hills, because I don't know why people say that. It takes time. Now, depending on if you plug into the exact income producing activities that you need to do, you can literally change your financial future in 30, 60, 90 days. You can, because people just adding $300 a month, Barb, that's what we were looking to do. Just $300 a month. That's game-changing income.
Mm-hmm. It is. So, that's a car payment. That's groceries. That's half a tank of gas now. But, I hear it. All right, Toni, based on conversations we've had and what you've seen from us, that we are firm believers in the American dream, and that, in fact, why we started this was when the American dream first came under attack a few years ago. And as a military widow, for me, it's something I'm very passionate about defending. A lot of people gave a lot of themselves so that all of us can be here having this conversation, so you can do what you're doing, so I can do what I'm doing today. But we know that I think some of the resistance against the concept of the American dream is people believe that we're forcing one version of that upon people, when in fact the opposite is what's true. And the American dream looks absolutely different for every single person dreaming and building and living it, which makes me want to ask you, what is your own personal vision for your life and your family to build that American dream? What is that dream life for you?
Well, that's one thing that I truly love about this business model, because I did own my own brick and mortars before as well. But the entire American dream was founded upon the entrepreneur, right? Our entire society is based on the entrepreneur. And there are still such amazing opportunities for people to do their own thing on their terms. And that is the one greatest thing that I can tell you is that, but we're not taught that. We're taught to go to school, to get a job, to work for someone else, right? That's the main message. It's not like that anymore, right? Technology has really helped to uncap those entrepreneurial spirits and those entrepreneurial dreams. You know, there's always a disadvantage, right? We want to say that. But I firmly feel that the American dream is alive and well. It's just that it's been buried. And so it takes people like us, Barb, for people like, other entrepreneurs like Dave and Josh and Mike and all of these wonderful people that I've met, over my journey this last year and a half, 2 years, that are really going to be the ones that are they're going to change a lot of things. And people they're not going to put up with this. They're not going to bow down to a lot of these ridiculous rules that are being imposed, and they're going to go off and start the whole thing. I'm having conversations now with starting freedom schools, right? For our children, like where we rent out a building. And, I actually have Catherine's teacher. I've actually talked to her about this a lot, ever since this idea. We're going to have freedom airplanes. We're going to have freedom healthcare. It's going to spiral off things where people are going to work and they'll take less money to have freedom, right? Just to get this going. I just see this is where we're going, because the government they have their dirty hands in our healthcare, in our education, in, owning all of these different, owning all of these big technocrat companies and all these big companies. It's time for the American people to take back our way of, it's time for us to take it back and start our own small businesses. I mean, I'm so excited for the future right now. And maybe you're listening to this and you're like, how can we do that? It's not how, you guys. What you put down and the energy that you put down there is that the universe and God will help you make a way. You just have to decide and commit to it.
So I can attest to that. Yes. Yeah.
All the answers aren't going to be there right away. I just know, like I'm getting God bumps talking about this right now. I know that there are going to be great things that are going to come of this.
Yeah. Your lips to God's ears, man. Toni, thank you so much for sitting down with us, for supporting our work, for coming to the event, for doing what you do, for impacting hundreds of thousands of lives and helping others. I personally can't wait to see what you're doing next and how I can be a part of supporting that, because I'm in on everything that you just said. And I think that's what it's about. We have to connect and work together and collaborate and that's the answer. We just have to find more people and work together and lead by example and do it. And that's exactly what you're doing, Toni. Again, thank you so much for being here and sharing today. We're going to put your links to all of your sites and your topics and your businesses in that article with you that we pop up with the podcast episode. So if you're listening on your phone, make sure you scroll down and find those links in that, or go to americansnippets.com and find that little article write-up we're going to do, and all the links to Toni's everything will be there. Thanks so much, Toni.
Awesome. Thank you so much for having me today, Barb.